What's going on, everybody? Chuck Cook here. Just wanted to do a quick video. Haven't really made one in a few days, but they did have a little bit of a press conference for the Trump team, Giuliani, Sidney Powell, a few others, and you know, I think the long and the short of this is that they seem to have at least somebody that can kind of corroborate um, what they're talking about with the Dominion and the Smartmatic software. They actually have, and I can actually well. I'm not sure if I'm going to pull it up because I don't want to read the whole affidavit. But basically, the guy goes on to say that when they kind of created this software, it was for Hugo Chavez, and it was meant to do these things, and it went kind of like bled into the whole Maduro thing, where Maduro was down, and all of a sudden they manufactured votes, and it seems like that is what happened to a lot of these states. Again, I did show a uh, kind of a um, it's just, I guess, a snapshot of where Trump was before they kind of stopped counting votes, and then the next day, all of a sudden, Trump was down in every single one of the states where he was up. It just doesn't make sense, and I think, like they said at the press conference, it goes beyond even the Trump election. It kind of could go even backwards into past elections and forwards, because going forward, we don't know what's going on, and you have these individual cases like in Michigan, Pennsylvania. I know there's they did the Georgia recount, and that's even been kind of tainted with the recount because they're not matching signatures and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of things that have been tainted with that. But um, they're not giving hard evidence yet, and I don't think they're going to give any hard evidence because I don't think they want to give Twitter, Facebook, um, YouTube, CNN. I don't think they want to give them ammo uh, for the next 2 or 3 weeks to kind of dig into while they're building their case for this Dominion shit. And I would like to know how they intend to prove this is exactly what happened. Um, it's not like anybody. I mean, I don't know who they have other than this one guy that kind of came forward with the affidavit. I don't know if they have anybody else that came forward. I mean, maybe they do and they're just not letting on. So I don't really know where we go from here, because even if you're somebody that studied constitutional law, and I'm sure, again, I haven't, I don't know, but I got to assume that somehow, what happens if there's an election marred by fraud? What do you do? And that's kind of the question here. What do you do? For example, in Pennsylvania, uh, they're talking about throwing out ballots, and I remember the one of the I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but the guy from the Supreme Court basically said, "Look, you got to separate these ballots," and they didn't do that. So basically, they said, "Well, fuck the Supreme Court. We're going to do whatever we want." Now it's impossible to figure out which ballots are which. I mean, it's become a complete shit show. So you can't even tell what's what. And the question is, well, which ones do you throw out? So I really don't know how this even goes. I mean, I really don't know where this ends up. Now, the other thing is, like in Michigan, you had um, they were gonna not certify it, then they were gonna certify it, and then they flipped back because there's like some Muslim guy or Somali guy, I don't know what he is, and some black chick that were basically doxing and calling these people rate. I can't figure this out. Like I don't understand what world we live in where this shit is actually um, acceptable. I don't understand it. Like I can't figure that out. Like the guy is literally doxing the woman and her kids, you know, and nothing happens. This is why I say this goes well beyond this whole election. This is, I mean, what's going on here is just a complete and utter travesty with this everything election, what these liberals are doing, what they're allowed to get away with, from looting and rioting and all this stuff with no repercussions. um it's absolutely a disgrace, and my opinion is that they are trying to erase what this country was built upon. So the country was basically founded by, Europeans that wanted to get away from tyrannical kings or whatever. They came to the new world, and they started anew, and they basically told, the British, go fuck yourself. And they ended up fighting with them and defeating them and creating the United States. And basically, all your immigrants that came over were from Germany, Italy, Ireland, Scotland, all over in Europe. And what's going on is you're importing a lot of third world trash into this country from places like Somalia, um, places like South America, uh, all of these different countries that basically are third world, and now they are trying to make it a third world. So it's not like they're fleeing their country because they're trying to come and make a better life. And what they're trying to do is change everything. And again, this falls under the whole globalist agenda. Um, it's absolutely crazy what's kind of going on here. And if you follow the money, um, I think we all know where everything kind of points to. And it's really a make or break moment, because if we go one way, um, we're gonna go down a path of no return where this country really just falls apart. And I think eventually probably gets taken over by China, a China Russia alliance, something to that effect. Um, I think that's kind of like the end game. What's going to happen in this country, and it just goes to show that they are willing to go whoever is behind the curtains. Because if you think about kind of what's going on, all of these really far left liberals and stuff like that, they got to be backed by something. They got to be backed by money. Biden was backed by so much money. It's just ridiculous how much money that guy was backed by. Um, and it just doesn't make any sense that the way he won, or supposedly won, without really putting in any effort. Um, he would kind of speak here and there, but he sounded like a complete, senile old man. Um, it just doesn't make any sense how this kind of happened without somebody in the shadows. And there's always somebody in the shadows. Um, so kind of take that with take that as you will, but um, I think they said Trump surpassed his 2016 by 10 million votes, and Biden still wins. It just doesn't make sense, folks. It doesn't make fucking sense. And with this whole COVID thing, because the COVID thing is kind of meshed in here too to kind of throw everything off. And for example, they caught that Newsom in California at a lush party at a very expensive restaurant. And, it's this restaurant where they don't have the prices. So, it's expensive. I mean, you're going to go there and money is kind of, they can charge whatever and money is no object. And they know that. So they don't put the prices there. No masks, no social distancing, lots of people. So you kind of have to think to yourself, I mean, it's either that they're that stupid or they know this is a bunch of bullshit and they're doing it and they just got caught. And it's the same in New Jersey where Murphy goes out again to one of these restaurants. No prices on the menu, no mask, no social distancing, nothing. And he's going to do what he wants. So, you know, there's so many things going on at once. It's really hard to kind of keep up. And for all we know, this could all be kind of a distraction for something else, which, we really don't know. But, unfortunately, as far as this election goes, I mean, this is unprecedented. I've never seen anything like this before. I've never heard of anything like this before. And, I can't see how, with the way people are acting nowadays, how this doesn't end up in some sort of civil war. And I hate to kind of say that, but, between the COVID shit and this other stuff, protesting the COVID stuff isn't doing anything. I mean, they're basically telling you that even though you're paying taxes and you own your house, how to run things in your house. I mean, what's next? Are they going to tell me when to do when to do the dishes? Are they going to tell me what time I should be eating? Are they going to start telling me when I should go to the bathroom? Because that's what it's really coming down to. And honestly, you can't fight that with protesting. That's not going to be the way. So honestly, I think, to kind of fight this, I think civil war is coming. And, I don't know what side everybody's on. It seems like it's going to be an even split. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's really getting crazy out there. So again, long story short, aside from my ranting, and I don't want to make a long video, we don't really know what's going on yet with the election. COVID's basically forcing more shutdowns. I know New York's going to be closing restaurants again, so there goes that. And we have Thanksgiving next week, and then you're going to kind of be in the Christmas mode right from there, because I know, like, for me, once Thanksgiving's over, I switch right over to Christmas mode. So probably this weekend I'll start decorating the house. Once Thanksgiving's over, I'll probably start looking for a tree. And kind of in Christmas mode, they're talking that this whole election thing is going to take 2 to 3 weeks. So even at 2 weeks, at a minimum, you're looking at December 3rd before anything happens. Tomorrow's Friday, so they had that press conference today. Don't know if anything's going to come tomorrow, but I think once they held when they held that press conference, I don't think now that we have that, I don't think much is going to happen. So, but that's pretty much it. If anything does happen tomorrow, I'll definitely make a video about it. But again, there's really not much to talk about. So stay safe, and I will talk to you later. Peace.